Hey guys, how are you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm
Doing
doing
pretty good.
I'm doing great to start. Oh, I love having dumb comedies back. It makes me very, very happy. Because I was watching this movie and at first I was like, I don't know what I'm getting myself into. And then I was like, oh, it's just one of those dumb comedies that we used to have all the
Yeah.
time. Great. No, no. Um, when you are doing something that is, nostalgic for the people who remember when we used to have those almost every single month. How
Yeah.
do you guys find the balance between creating something new and also like honoring what came before and making sure that like comedy fans like me are gonna have something that they can really enjoy and something like The Gutter?
Oh
Um,
wow.
I think I feel like when we decided to make this movie and Yasser wrote it, we decided to do it together. I think the most frustrating thing to me and like what I really personally put a lot into it is that I'm 38 years old and I feel like I've been told everything I liked growing up was bad for like the last 10 years, or it wasn't, oh, that was stupid or it didn't have this, and that. So, and I take that personally. That's what I grew up on. Those were my sensibilities. And we just wanted to make something really fun and funny. I think it's like everything in this business or everything in terms of the creative part of it. There is a kind of format for it. There's kind of like a way you do things, and I think the way you honor it is kind of sticking to that format. It's the same way how All in the Family is essentially just Married with Children. You know what I mean? But in a different decade. So I think me and Yasser have very fresh senses of humor, and we're willing to take jokes further than other people are willing to take them. And we leaned into that, like, um I would say on the day, and opportunities to do like, bits and pitching alts and things like that. Like, because we knew what we were making, it was easier to pull the kind of jokes that we needed to tell from it, due to all the stuff we had watched in the past.
Right. And I think that even just to piggyback off what he's saying, like in terms of like formatting and structure, it's like all of those movies, yes, dumb, but like, they all are about an underdog, right? And they're all about some a fish out of water. And if at any point, by the way, I freeze, you guys just let me know. But they're about these they're the thing that makes them funny is that it's someone who's not supposed to be there is there. And so once that part of the story was kind of cracked, it's like, then how do we just have fun, a la what Isaiah is saying, is that like, even separately, individually and together, like it people try to make you feel bad for thinking something is funny.
Mhm.
And honest to God, like, and I don't, please print this. I just think that there are so many dorks in Hollywood who were not a part of that fun. Like Dumb and Dumber, when Jim Carrey goes, "What are you guys drinking? Big gulps, huh? Well, see you later." That's like one of the funniest lines ever in a movie. But like all these dorks felt like because they didn't get it, that it wasn't funny, and now they are somehow in
Right,
charge. And they're like,
right.
actually, what's funny is, and you're like, I don't want to, like, the idea of like comedies now is that it's the idea of a joke versus an actual joke. And, I wrote this thing and Isaiah directed this thing, and we were like, how do we come at every single joke head on? Like, and comedy, like I came up doing stand up. Isaiah was at almost every single one of my shows because we like lived together. And like the thing about stand up is that like you can't be the more subtle you are in a joke, the less of a laugh it gets,
Mhm.
like you don't want people being like, wow, that guy was really smart. Like you want them to be like they were smart and funny or just funny. And
Right.
so we really like came at it where like there's going to be a group of people in the theater. There's going to be people at home. Like, we want them to laugh, and we want them to laugh out loud and be
Hmm.
like, "Oh, I'm actually experiencing joy," and not just thinking like, "Oh, did you notice how the clock in the back was at 12:03, and then later in a scene it was at 12:04? What do you think the joke of that was?" It's like, what are we talking about? Like, someone slipping on a banana peel is funny. Like, that's it,
Yeah. Pie to the face. Yeah. Yeah.
falling down the stairs, that's funny. Like, and so like, let's just do versions of that.
Well, yeah, because you were saying like growing up, like I'm gonna be 33, and it's like I grew up in a time where we had movies like Hot Rod and Step Brothers and all of these things that were
Hmm.
so funny, but also were like, you're like, these characters would never survive in the real world, but I don't care. Like they're that is why I like this, because it's like we're even our own comedy shows aren't that way. Because I used to do UCB, and I was like, I remember seeing a sketch. I'm like, I can't see this in a movie because I think it's very funny, and no one else would make it into a movie. So it's nice with something like The Gutter, because it's like, oh no, this just feels like a prolonged UCB sketch in a film that I can now be like, this is the stuff I think is funny.
Yeah.
But like you said, that's like sometimes the joke gets too analytical nowadays because people are like trying to put way too much effort into every single facet of a genre. When
Right.
you do have something like this that has Darcy, who like again, I used to do UCB, I used to see her do comedy all the time, but also Shmeek, who hearing his voice and not just seeing Miles Morales took me out a lot. I was like, that's Miles. How much do you guys have to lean on the comedy of these actors to like sell, Darcy Carden being Susan Sarandon's estranged former pro bowler daughter, and like making me be like, yeah, that makes sense. Those two are 100% related to each other.
Well, I'll start, but I think that like we only leaned on them in the sense that they were completely down to do it.
Mhm.
And like you weirdly there are two types of like filmmaking techniques, right? There are like the people who like show up, the directors or whoever, and they're like, we're doing it exactly this way, we are not veering, blah blah blah. And I think, comedy or not, the people that we aspire to be and have always admired as filmmakers, a la a Paul Thomas Anderson or a Wes Anderson, even, I mean, not all the time, but even a Spike Lee to half of his catalog, but the other half, I'm like,
A
no.
quarter.
Yeah, okay, wow, we're going lower. But
It is
even
bringing it down. It's
comedically,
one movie.
yeah,
A
right. But
quarter.
comedically, like Keenen Ivory Wayans, Robert
Hmm.
Townsend, like
Yep.
people that like they got their crew together, their actors, and they were like, I know I like you and I trust you to do the thing that we're asking. And also, I know you're brilliant on your own. And so Shamik was, a little bit hesitant at first. He's only done, the closest thing he has done to a comedy is like Dope, which is funny, but like it's more of a coming of age.
Yeah.
This is a goof fest. And once once we told him like take the brakes off, it's fine. Like we like, to use the term lean, I would say if anything we got to relax a little bit and be like, wow, we can let them handle, like, and I'll let Isaiah go into it, but like just working with Susan alone and seeing what she can do as a comedian, it bums me out because I'm like, we lost out on a lot of Susan Sarandon comedies that should have been like massive comedies. But that's kind of all I have to say. But Zaya, sorry.
No, no. I mean, it's just kind of like he said most of what I was going to say, but like it's like an empowerment thing. Like when I think the thing with Shamik as well, because him and Darcy is familiar with doing comedies, and they did a lot of scenes together, and she's also a very easy person to work with, and I think that helped him relax. And again, like Yasser was saying, it was just us being like, "Oh, we got you for this thing. We trust you to do this thing," and everyone was just down. They were like, a question we got a lot after takes was, "Is this funny? Like, do you think this is funny enough? Can I get another take?" And it was mostly them. Like, I can't take too much credit for it.
Yeah, and for my last question, I do want to ask, just because I think a movie like this, it just makes me very happy. And it was funny because when you were talking about like certain things don't, you wouldn't have just like an actual joke be a part of a movie. I just watched Dazed and Confused for the first time, and I was like, yeah, like we don't have like all right, or things like that anymore because people are so
Mhm.
and they're worried about 12 other things. what for you guys was the most exciting part of having the freedom of a comedy like this getting made and like being on that set and seeing it happen, having the knowledge that like we've moved away from that?
No, sorry.
I no, sorry. Go ahead, Yasser.
No, I was gesturing to you first.
I told you
I
to
didn't.
go.
No, no, no. Please, no, please, please.
Oh, no, go first. You're starting.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. Um, I think that like I don't know. I think for us, at least like my mindset when we were doing it is that I just wanted to make. I didn't really think about the other stuff like when I was in it. Like I was just trying to make the funniest movie possible. Like how can we make this scene the best scene possible? And um I think that most of that stuff came like after where there was a little bit more explaining of like, no, like in Hot Rod, there is no big arc. In Talladega Nights, there is no big arc. In Happy Gilmore, all he does is get a girlfriend. He wins a tournament and gets a girlfriend. You know what I mean? And like that's not like a massive, he doesn't change at all. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I think um I don't know, I wasn't trying to think of like how can we make this like an old comedy that we used to make as much as that like I was operating in the structure of what we were making and just trying to make the best possible thing.
I'll say that I'm a little bit not opposite, but I very much was cognizant of, and this is why we had two directors, because Isaiah was focused on like some of the other stuff where I was just like, we gotta make a statement. But I will say truthfully to everything that Isaiah is saying that like I like I do personally, and he said this at the very beginning, so I'm giving him his flowers again, but I was very aware like if we go down, right, this is the first and maybe the only opportunity we were ever going to have where someone's like, here is money, make something, you know. I was like, do I want it to be a thing where we, I'm going to use the word cool, but that's not what I mean. Are we going to spend this time trying to convince people that we are cool? Or are we going to convince them that we are very funny and it is okay to laugh at things and like it doesn't all have to be, you know, some prestige streaming nothing of a show. You know what I mean? And like I though Isaiah saying it wasn't at top of mind, I do think subconsciously that's exactly where he was too, is that we knew that like this is our shot. We love these things. We also have other ideas and other movies that we will make that are not a big goofball fest, but this was that movie. It's
Right.
for this time. And we were like, we're to what Isaiah said, like, we're gonna go for it as hard as possible. And like, look, you either laugh at it, like, and I mean this sincerely, it's no stakes for us. Like, you either laugh at it or you don't. Like, I do not care. The people that like it really like it, and that is enough for me because that is the validation that Isaiah was talking about earlier. Like, these things that we grew up with aren't stupid. They were fun. It's like what informed
Yeah.
us as people and culture for a very long time. Like there would Ben Stiller would not be doing Severance if he didn't do Dodgeball, and that is the truth. It's you
Yep.
know like or Heavyweights. He was so funny in
Heavyweights.
Heavyweights.
Heavyweights is my
You
OG
know?
Ben Stiller. I think he's
Um,
so funny in that.
he's so funny, but like that's the thing is that we all stray like we've been somehow convinced again by dorks in Hollywood that it's like cool not to laugh and it's only all you should do is like go to like dinners that have cool lighting and take a picture of the food. It's like it's okay to just like have fun and be weird and be with your friends and like quote movies. Like, remember that used to be our whole personality growing up. Sometimes you would just quote funny movies back and forth to each other and then like push someone off of like a small ledge or stand behind them while your friend pushed them over you. Like, it's just stuff like
Yeah.
that. I genuinely in our heart believe, or in my heart believe that me and Isaiah just wanted to be like, you are allowed to just like have fun and like not in the Elon Musk way where he like bought Twitter and was like, comedy is back. And it's like, shut
Uh,
up, you goddamn.
Flamethrower.
Like,
I just think that I always think of the Tesla flamethrower. No one talks about it anymore. Like they're out there, like
yeah,
there are flamethrowers out there. That's crazy.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
absolutely crazy.
Get it and burn
It's
that truck down.
it's just because he has an accent and talks slow. People are like, "Oh, he's smart." It's like he's not. He's not.
No.
He's just so that freaking immigrant who has $1 billion and was like, "We should go to Mars." It's like, dude, everyone thinks we should go to Mars. Like, you are not going to be the person to figure that out. You're dumb. Anyway, sorry.
Sorry.
I see how that he genuinely just wanted people to have fun again. And now here we are. And look, Rachel, hopefully it worked on you.
It did. It made me. I literally, as I was thinking of like rapping, I was like, I have to admit that you said per people used to quote movies. I was like, I still do. Literally last night, someone said Ocho, and I was like, ESPN ate the Ocho. Like,
Yeah.
So I was like, I am still that person. But it made me so happy to see a comedy like this again. And thank you guys so much for talking with me today. I really appreciate
Rachel,
it.
thank you so much.
Thank you, Rachel.
Thank you. Have a great one.
Bye.
Bye.